What's going on?
Hey, traders. Welcome to another Thursday edition of the Market Scan. Tex and Ads here with you. Hope you've had a great week, staying safe.
Yeah.
It's times like this where you realize how blessed we are to live in a country like Australia. You know, we're looking to flatten the curve on COVID and things are looking upwards as the markets at the moment. It's been a good week of trades, particularly on ETH for a number of our guys. And I want to give a special shout out to Paul if you're watching this, Overseer. We had a little bit of a bet this afternoon on which way ETH would go in the short term, and he won. So congratulations, mate. I was happy to be proven wrong on that. When the student becomes the master, you know you're doing something right. So let's get into it. As we've got Bitcoin USD 1 day on Bitstamp. We've come down and we've bounced off demand as we kind of expected off this trend line when we were talking about it on Tuesday for this pretty nice little green dildo that we had there. Now a little bit of indecision, even though we haven't yet closed on the daily candle. We'll see that tomorrow morning. But I think I was looking. I think it was I think it was Crypto Tees. He's on Twitter. I don't know what his real name is, but he was saying that next week he ran some stats, and this is for people who are bullish, as you know, as we are macro, of course. But he said that I believe it was next Monday or Tuesday. It was going to be the monthly, the weekly, and the daily close, and he ran some stats back from 2000 and I want to say it was like 2014 or 2015 that showed that when you have it occur on a Monday or Tuesday, we get some of the best moves that we have. Obviously, we know on Mondays and Tuesdays, we tend to get a lot of volatility, whether it be to the upside or the downside. Most Mondays and or Tuesdays in the last couple of months since the beginning of the year have favored moves to the upside. So will we get that next Monday or Tuesday? Who knows? But we can only trade what we're seeing right now, Ads. So let's get into it. What are we seeing here?
Right now, Ty, it's good to see that BTC is still holding that uptrend from the 19th of March. But the only concerning thing right now is if we zoom into the 4 hour, take a little bit more of a look at what we're seeing on the chart. Just let me get that looking a little bit nicer. So we've had that top at around the 7th of April, up here at the 7,400 mark. We've made a lower low on the 16th of April, and that was at about 6,470-ish. And then since then, Ty, we're still just in that descending structure. We've made another lower high, and then again today in the early morning, early afternoon. Sorry, late morning, early afternoon. So it's a little bit indecisive, to be honest with you, in my opinion, in terms of which direction it wants to go in. I probably wouldn't be cracking out the champagne just yet until we make it over 7.2, Ty.
Yeah, and with me opening about that line about the daily, weekly, monthly thing, got some big guys, and I was actually talking to him behind the scenes, Flood, the other day. I'm still trying to get him on the podcast. He's a little bit iffy about doing podcasts, but I asked him, and he is macro bullish, as is Thrillmex. I don't know what his name is on Twitter. I'm not quite sure. And a guy that I've been talking to a little bit behind the scenes, Hulk, he's believing that we're due for a decent move to the upside. But you know, talking with Bitcoin Jack, and you can go. We released that episode the other day inside the Discord with Bitcoin Jack, where we went through his bottom analysis and why he believed that 3.8 move was the bottom. He believes that there's quite a large liquidity void up around the 10 10K mark, where he thinks that we'll be headed in the sort of the midterm. But again, keeping in mind that, we've established a pretty decent range here at the minute between like 7.72 and sort of 6.5 at the moment. So we could keep consolidating within that. And then we've got other guys like Cold-Blooded Schiller, who believes that we're in quite a large distribution phase right now, which would be invalidated if we had a move up. But as Ad said, a little bit of indecision here. I kind of find that I feel like we had 6-2 on the cards, and then we had 6-5 on the cards. Even though we're making these lower lows here, the strength of the dumps, I think, is dwindling to a degree. I don't think we're seeing these massive dumps like what we were beforehand. And even when we do have these dumps, they're bought up quite quickly, which shows that there is a decent amount of buyers at this sort of level. So we could just keep doing this and then potentially pop up. But I think for the rest of the week, I think we will probably just consolidate between this demand zone and maybe sort of 7.2. Where obviously, keeping in mind, on weekends we get these crazy wicks and we get these stop hunts that play out, which I'm sure we'll probably see this weekend. But as we approach the latter end of the week, but we don't tend to see moves like this so much. So I will just play the range for the minute until the weekend passes, and then expecting some fireworks early to mid next week.
Absolutely, Ty. If we zoom out to the macro scale, look, it's still looking quite healthy, to be completely honest with you. The RSI's sort of middle ground, CCI's sort of middle ground. We are, ascending still. Obviously, we've got our high lows all the way up. The only thing that concerns me is this sort of structure here. So it's really going to be do or die right now for BTC.
Yeah, to continue upwards, I think we've had it drawn out for a little while. It was like 7.407, I think, was our main point where I really want to see that break. And then obviously, of course, ultimately, to continue this bullish momentum, we want to see this sort of 7.5 level break and create a higher high here. And we haven't made that as of yet, but that's not to say it can't happen. But at the moment, as we said, I guess a little bit of indecision. There's not really anyone clearly in control here. But until we stop making these sort of overall these higher lows, then you've got to consider that we certainly can continue up towards this next supply zone here.
Absolutely. That's definitely a possibility. If we come back, because we were on Tuesday night, we were really identifying this level of demand at 6,250.
Totally.
So if we get to that level of demand, that would create the lower low on the daily time frame, not just the 4 hour. If that does occur, then I would probably expect something along these lines to continue that trend downwards. But until then, we'll stick to our guns and say, look, 7. The initial target that I had for it was 7.6, and that could very much still be on the cards.